Alright guys, we got a deck profile today. Here's my friend's Monarch deck, and I'm just gonna let him get right into it.
Okay, this will be a pretty fast profile because it's just like a standard Monarch build, nothing too crazy. So it's just going to be 3 Erebus, and 3 Erebus, 3 Aether. That's really basic because the main reason those are good is because you need to send Pantheism to the grave to get your pluses going, and Prime to grave too, to get that stuff going. So those are, you always want those in your hand. Aether, summon on your opponent's turn, all that. I run the 1 Thestalos, 1 Caius, because they're both really good, but more situational. So you just search for them with return, and it's the same logic behind Majesty and Karaz. I know some people play like 2 Majesty, 2 Karaz, but I personally I like the one of each because if I need it, I can play it, and I don't ever need 2 of any of these cards really. They're all just one ofs, and it works well. And I also like having 10 total Monarchs, because then I find I'm not bricking Monarchs very often. If anything, it's not drawing enough Monarchs. But so 10 is the right number in my opinion. And then obviously 3 Edia, 3 Eidos. I wish I didn't have to play 3 Eidos, but you really do, because you use Eidos effects sometimes twice, if not 3 times in a duel. So you need to run 3 of each, in my opinion. Also just gets you going. So far nothing too crazy. Alright, then my spell lineup's pretty common sense. 3 Pantheism, 3 Tenacity, 3 Domain. At first I didn't run 3 Domain, but then I realized you kind of need it because if you open Eidos instead of Edia, then you just have the 1 Tribute, so this helps you not brick. And also you get the lock because, you still got Performing Palace, Burning Abyss running around, so 3 is good, I guess. 3 Stormforth, still really good. Okay, this is a little more questionable in some people's opinion, but I play the 3 Return. And the reason I play 3 Return is because sometimes when you're getting started, you have to use Tenacity to get Pantheism to your hand. And in that situation, if you only have 2 returns, then you can't guarantee that you're going to get return with the Pantheism. And if you only have like Erebus or something, that's really bad because then you only have 1 Monarch in your hand. You immediately run out of plays. So I find that you need the 3rd return, so that way you can get it with Pantheism if necessary. So that's why I play 3. So and I just think it's really good too, and you can just ditch it with Pantheism, or you can ditch it for Erebus if it's bad. So I don't know. I think 3 is good. So that's all the Monarch spell and traps. 1 for 1, probably the MVP of the deck, so it lets you tribute summon twice in a turn. Return and Foolish. Return is just another Edia, and then Foolish, because it's kind of versatile. If you don't open up a Monarch, that's the more common way of bricking in Monarchs is not opening up any Monarchs. So Foolish can be an 11th Monarch because you just send Erebus and then you ditch Monarch Spell Trap, add it to your hand. Or if not that, if you have a banished Pantheism, you just drop Edia and add it back to your hand. So there's a few different uses for Foolish, so that's why it's pretty decent at consistency. Okay, and then the last spell choice is Compliments of my friend Steve. This was really smart because I was testing this deck. I was just solitarying it, like 5 and 6 card hands, and I found I was bricking a lot. Just because you brick a lot in Monarchs, because there's a lot of ways to brick. And I found this is actually really smart, because like what you do, because you can brick from too many Monarchs or no Monarchs. So usually you brick no Monarchs. So what you do is, like, if you have Edia and Magical Mallet, you summon the Edia, thin out the deck Eidos. So then you have 3 cards left in your hand if you're playing a 5-card hand. Then you play Magical Mallet, and you've got 3. You send 3 cards back, and you've got 3 chances to get a Monarch, and you get things going really well. Or if you brick too many Monarchs, which happens occasionally, you can send all but 1 of the Monarchs back and try to get like Pantheism or something or whatever you need. And so it's really good because it fixes brick hands. And if it's bad, what you can do is, there's a few different things you can do if it's bad. If it's bad, you can set it and kill it with Karaz and draw 1. Or if your first Monarch is Caius and you have to like make your opening play with Caius, you just set it and banish it. So there's a few different things you can do with it. But I've play tested this because it seems questionable, but I've actually play tested it a lot and it works really well. Because if your hand's already good, then you're fine, and if your hand's not good, it'll fix your hand. So it's pretty much a win-win situation.
2 is a good number.
Yeah, 2 is a good number because 3 you're just gonna see it too much. Because I mean it is a minus, so you don't want to run 3, and 1 you're not gonna see it. So 2 is a good number. And then I just run 4 trash. I run the 3 prime just because it's essentially like, you know, it's good to see in your hand because of pantheism, obviously. And then also it's got 2. It's like essentially 2 cards really because the graveyard effect and the field effect are just not even related really. So it's good at 3. That's just standard. I don't really need to explain that. And then I only play 1 escalation, which is kind of sad. I wish I played more because it's really good, but there's just not room for more.
Weren't you recently running like 3 of these?
Yeah, I was running 3 of this, but I just realized I just didn't have room for it because the reason I was running 3 is because I wanted to be able to get it with pantheism, but in reality, when you're banished pantheism, I was never choosing escalation. I was always choosing return, Stormforth, domain, like any of the other cards. I was never choosing escalation. So if I'm not gonna ever choose escalation with pantheism, then I figure I might as well just run 1 because I can always just yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and that's it for the main deck. No extra deck because I want to get the lock with domain. This is not extra deck Monarchs, obviously. You probably figured that out.
Have you thought about running extra deck Monarchs ever?
Well, no, I'm just too cheap for that.
Fair enough.
And I'd rather lock out extra deck Monarchs, or I guess you can't. It's hard to lock them out, but I'd rather lock out other people than like risk getting locked out myself.
Yeah, I got you.
I think the lock is pretty good, and it's cheaper. So all right, so then this is the side deck. 2 Valor is basically 4 Monarchs, and maybe this is a little out of order, but Raigeki's kind of for Monarchs too. So these have there's a few like good things about this. Valor obviously can shut down Monarchs for a turn because if they summon Eidos, whatever, effect Valor, they already use a normal summon, forced to stop for the turn. So that's obviously really good against Monarchs. Also, Raigeki's good because if you activate it and they can't chain Aether because then it won't resolve. So this like prevents them from doing shenanigans on your turn. Also, these are all outs to Fog King, kind of, because Raigeki's obviously not to Fog King, but I recently learned that Valor, what you can do, since it's a continuous effect to have the attack, is you just Valor on their turn and the attack goes back down to 0 and you can just swing over it. So this is how I side against Monarchs. Mirror match, I should say. So that's that. Then Maxi is essentially, I don't like to side in Maxi, but if I'm playing like Performa Pals or something like that, then you obviously have to side in Maxi. Like I won't side this in for Cosmos. I might side it in for Burning Abyss, depending if I want to or not, but essentially what I do is I would side out the Magical Mallets for Maxi because that's going to get me into the cards I need. And because the Mallets are in there for when I'm going first.
Yeah.
So that way I have a first turn play. But usually game 2, because ideally I won game 1, so game 2 they're going to be going first, so then I've got the Maxis.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that way. Then 2 Lancia for Cosmo, shut him down for a turn, and then you can just like OTK him or something. Or on your turn, so there's not gonna be, you can guarantee no shenanigans on your turn. So Lancia is just basic against Cosmo. Majesty's Fiend, I already main 1, but the second is for Burning Abyss and Cosmo because it just shuts him down pretty much. I guess there's Cosmo Joe, but it's still good. I'll side out, if I'm putting this in, I just side out Karaz, because I'm not a big fan of the Karaz play. I know most Monarch players are, but I don't know. I just think it's not that good. Maybe I'm just bad at Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, and then this is also for Cosmo while I'm at it, System Down. It's decent. I mean, it's more than decent, because, I mean, considering that I can just OTK easily with, like, Aether, I mean, and I can just System Down, and it's good. I don't know if people are trash talking that at all, but I've heard that. But anyway, then this is kind of silly. I don't play Twin Twister. And maybe it's because I'm cheap, but maybe it's because I don't want to discard a card. That's what I'll say, at least. And it kind of sucks taking up 5 spots, but you have to do it because Mask of Restrict, you auto lose, obviously. So I want to not auto lose. And the reason I don't main deck any Spell and Trap Hate is because nobody main decks Mask of Restrict, basically. And I'm not really worried about, like, I don't, I'm just not worried about Spells and Traps other than Mask of Restrict too much. Because, if they like Solemn Strike Edia, then I've got it in the grave, or, I don't know. There's just always more plays to make when they use other traps on you. It's just Mask of Restrict. So this is really just for Mask of Restrict. That's it.
All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for some future videos, and SilverShadow out.